this week we are meal prepping together. I'm going to show you how I keep it so simple when it comes to meal prep, and it allows me to eat healthy, get a lot of nutrient density into my diet, and also just makes my lifestyle so much more convenient. Like, I actually cannot imagine how I would manage everything that I do without having my meals prepped and stocked in my fridge throughout the entire week. So, let's dive into it together. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to show you what a typical meal prep session looks for me. I keep it really simple, and I'm always going to focus on whole foods, colorful foods, and then making sure that I get enough protein. So I'm not fancy. I don't go into making a bunch of different complicated meals. I like to just prep things that I can easily grab out of my fridge that I know are going to keep me full and also make my body feel energized and just really good overall. So, first things first, protein. Some of my go tos, I have a grass fed organic ground beef that I will cook. I will season this like with taco seasoning so that I could use it in tacos. I can make burrito bowls, I can make taco salad, I can make nachos. It's so versatile, and I love having this in my fridge. And then I also have organic chicken thighs. I go for thighs instead of breasts because I like to cook them in the air fryer, and thighs come out really well in the air fryer. Breasts can be a little bit drier, but if I do buy chicken breasts, then I'll do them in the crock pot with like a salsa or some sort of sauce. And then for veggies, I have an entire bag of sweet potatoes. I'm gonna bake these up. I have broccoli and broccolini, and then I have cucumbers, tomatoes, and onions that I'm gonna make like a little mix with, you'll see. And then a can of black beans, and I already have rice in the fridge. First things first, when people talk about meal prepping, typically you see people create containers of actually meals. I like to go about meal prep just creating ingredients. So that means I'm going to cook up my ground beef and put it in a container. I'm going to cook up my chicken, put it in a container. Same with the veggies, the rice, the beans. This gives me the flexibility to mix and match my meals. So, like I said, I can use the ground beef for like 5 different things and not be so caged into the same meals over and over and over. Now, that works for me because I work from home. If you're someone that's going into the office every day, of course, it's going to make sense to have your meals planned out and to have them in individual containers. But for me, I like to be able to add variety and just grab everything out of my fridge and make my own meals throughout the week. So let's get started. Putting these in the fridge until I cook them. Safety. I'm going to start with the sweet potatoes because these are, in my opinion, the most annoying part. Do that first. I'm gonna wash them, peel them, and then dice them. I don't know if it's necessary to wash your sweet potatoes if you're also peeling them, but I've always done it this way. Okay, these are peeled, so now I'm gonna chop them up. Do not come at me for the plastic cutting board, y'all. I know it's not good. I know I need to get bamboo or wood or whatever, but I just haven't yet, so please let me live. I'm going to chop these up into little pieces, so rough, nothing fancy, because I'm just throwing them into the oven after I season them, of course. Sweet potatoes are so underrated. My naturopath, Dr. Monique, shout out to you, girl. She taught me to incorporate sweet potatoes in my luteal phase. And right now, I am in my luteal phase. That's why I'm a little bit cranky today. Sweet potatoes and complex carbs in general are just filled with great nutrients that support your luteal phase as you approach the start of your next cycle. So, sweet potatoes, add them to your grocery list, especially the week leading up to your period. Now, this is like what? This was maybe 6 sweet potatoes. I usually would not cut up this many at once, but my parents are coming to visit me, and they're going to be here for a few days. So, I like to have a fridge full of food. Diced sweet potatoes, I mean, I could throw this in a bowl with some ground beef, some black beans, some spinach, some avocado, and some salsa and be happy as can be. They're also really great to toss into like breakfast scrambles. I'm going to be tossing these onto a large cooking sheet with parchment paper along with other veggies. So, putting some olive oil on there, and then nothing fancy. Like, we're just putting them on the baking sheet. One thing you can do, if I weren't feeling so lazy and if you're not afraid of single-use plastic, is you can put your chopped sweet potatoes into a big Ziploc bag with olive oil and all your seasonings and then shake them up. But we're just gonna season and mix this up today. It's already like 7 o'clock here. I worked a full corporate day today. When I say a full corporate day, I mean it. And so I'm feeling a bit tired. I actually didn't even feel like meal prepping today. That I always keep for myself is I am someone who keeps the commitments that she makes to herself. And one of my commitments for myself this week was to meal prep, was to make sure I have healthy food in my fridge. So this is a promise that I'm keeping to myself. Cutting sweet potatoes is actually so stressful. Like, there's no good form. It's just quite tough. This was a wrist workout, let me tell you. So many sweet potatoes. All right, now that these are diced, I'm gonna add some olive oil. For my sweet potatoes, I like to do a little bit of a mix of sweet and savory. Don't knock it till you try it. So, of course, we're gonna add some salt. Highly recommend using this Redmond salt, real salt. More minerals, better for you. Also, I think it tastes better. Get it at Sprouts. And then this is just some garlic seasoning. We are going to add some all-purpose seasoning. A little paprika, smoked paprika to be exact. Okay, and this is where you just kind of have to trust me on this. We're also going to add a little bit of cinnamon. And this just helps bring out a little bit of the sweetness of the sweet potatoes without being like overpoweringly sweet. Trust me. And then I'm going to use avocado oil to spray on top. I also like to add a herb. You can do thyme, you can do rosemary, you can do parsley. I'm going to do some rosemary on these. Put this in my hand and just smells good. Kind of reminds me of Thanksgiving, like the cinnamon with the sweet potatoes with the rosemary. Okay, so that is our first veggie tray. I'm going to go ahead and put this in the oven at 350. And then I'm going to grab another baking sheet, a small one for the broccoli. I have a bag of broccoli and like a little bit of broccolini, so I'm just going to toss them both on here. Olive oil. Sometimes I prep my veggies in advance when it comes to like broccoli and cauliflower and that type of stuff. And sometimes I like to just air fry it in the moment. Honestly, depends. This week, I don't trust myself to make anything in the moment because I just haven't felt like doing anything. So I'm just going to know myself and know that prepped is best this week. So it's not even that much. Olive oil. And then I like to keep my same seasoning profile for my veggies, but you can mix it up. I'm not going to add cinnamon to the broccoli though. And this is going right in the oven with the sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes will stay in there like 30 minutes. Broccoli, maybe 20. I'll keep an eye on it. I don't really measure or have specific times for this process. I just go with the flow. Moving on to the chicken thighs, I always toss these in the air fryer. They come out so crispy, so juicy, so good every single time. I swear by it, and you guys, it's so easy. So let me show you what I do. So I'm just opening my chicken. I put some olive oil and parchment paper into the air fryer already, and I'm going to set it in here before I season it and wash my hands because, again, we care about food safety in this house. So trash, wash. Okay, now I have tongs that I can use to season and flip. I kind of take on like a chicken shawarma type vibe. I don't want to say that for sure because culturally, like, I'm not educated on all of the spices that go into a shawarma. But I do like to kind of mimic this over. I don't know if you guys have had Trader Joe's chicken shawarma thighs. They're so good. And so I just did a little onion powder. I love smoked paprika, so we add that. Garlic powder. I already added salt if you missed that. And then Greek seasoning. So this is from my local farmer's market. It has a mix of garlic, onion, black pepper, dill, paprika, nutmeg, sea salt. So a little bit of a variety here, but it is made for chicken and it's meant to give, again, a little bit of that shawarma feel. And then I'm going to top it off with just a little all-purpose because I put this on everything. A little more olive oil and then flip and season the other side. I used to be so scared of cooking chicken until I found this method because honestly, it's so easy and it just comes out perfect every single time. So I'm just going to copy the same seasonings on this side. And once both sides are seasoned, I'm just going to give it a spray. And this is going in the air fryer at, I put it on the chicken setting, but let's see what temperature that is. 360. And I do it for 12 minutes on each side. And then while the chicken is cooking, we get started on the ground beef. So like I said, I always make my ground beef taco season. I love Siette's seasonings. They have a mild and a spicy. This week, because my parents are coming and my mom hates spicy food, we're gonna go with mild. I feel like I could not get a proper camera angle, so this might look terrible. Alright, this pan was way too hot. Guys, it's really hard to vlog and meal prep, or just vlog and anything that you normally do because you're adding a whole other element, but we're gonna get there. Alright, like I said, Siete. Easy thing about this is it's honestly so good on its own that you don't need a ton of supplementation with it. I did just add a little bit of salt, but you put this entire packet in. I know some people like to wait to season their beef until after it's cooked, but my mama always taught me to season it while it's cooking. And with this seasoning, you do add a little bit of water. I'm going to add chicken broth because I have it open already, and I find that that just keeps the flavor a little bit better as opposed to diluting it with water. But like I said, this was so easy. Cooking this ground beef takes less than 7 minutes, and now I have a versatile protein option for the entire week. I think you're supposed to add like a third of a cup. I don't measure things. I just go for it. I've done this so many times. All right, I'm gonna let this simmer. It's already like mostly cooked. So we'll let this finish and check on the veggies. Broccoli's almost done. Sweet potatoes need more time. Okay, while everything is finishing up, we're gonna put together this little veggie mixture. I don't even know what to call it. Kind of like a Mediterranean pico de gallo, maybe. But this is something that's so simple to add to chicken and rice bowls, even to eat with chips if you feel like it. And again, colorful, whole foods. That's always the goal. So I'm just dicing up these tomatoes here. I'm not really a huge fan of tomatoes on their own. So that's why I like creating these little mixtures where I can still get my tomatoes in, but I don't feel like I'm eating just tomatoes. So I'm using 2 Roma tomatoes here. You can create this type of combination with literally any produce that makes you happy. In the summers, I love making cowboy caviar, so I'll do like black beans, tomatoes, corn, avocado, cilantro, lots of lime juice, and I eat that with chips. I eat it in my bowls. I eat it by itself. Like it's just so good. This one, like I said, has more of a Mediterranean flair with the cucumber and the red onion. I like to put this into chicken and rice bowls with like hummus, maybe some tzatziki, some romaine. Also really good on its own. So I'm going to cut the cucumbers nice and small here. You could also use this as a salad topping. So if you wanted to buy like romaine and spring mix, just top this onto your salad and add some of the chicken from the air fryer. Again, this is the whole point of prepping ingredients instead of meals. Versatility. You can do whatever you want and you're getting in your whole single ingredient foods. So simple. I love cucumbers, so I'm going to make this a little cucumber heavy. I really do see meal prepping for myself as one of the most important forms of self love. Making sure that my body is fed properly, that I'm getting enough nutrients, and then also that I'm eating in a way that aligns with my cycle. I have an entire podcast episode from her becoming on my YouTube channel dedicated to understanding your cycle and how to make lifestyle adjustments in accordance with your cycle. And one of the greatest things you can do is shift your diet throughout your cycle to make sure that you're getting the nutrients that align with each phase. Okay, and then I'm gonna add some red onion. Something that is so underrated is the fact that the color of fruits and vegetables is not a coincidence. The colors have certain benefits. So, incorporating red and blue foods into your diet, so think red onions and berries, purple potatoes, such good brain health food. Like lots of antioxidants, really good for supporting memory and focus. You really want to make sure that you're getting those antioxidants into your diet. Red foods also really high in antioxidants and good for your heart. So tomatoes, strawberries, those red foods that we just adore serve a purpose. Orange foods, great for fertility, reproductive health. You've probably seen the viral raw carrot salad that women eat to balance their hormones, which is actually an incorrect term, but we'll let them have it. It's great for supporting your reproductive health. Green foods, think of like a multivitamin. So we grow up with our parents telling us to eat our green veggies. There's a reason for that. Green vegetables are so nutrient dense, especially like broccoli, spinach, kale, those leafy greens. You want to make sure you're incorporating those into your diet to get a whole range of nutrients and minerals into your body. All right, I'm adding red onion. This is so much more than I thought, hence the small bowl. So to this, I'm going to add salt. And I'm going to half this lemon. And then I'm going to just squeeze this in here as well. Making a mess. I'm not afraid to make a mess in the kitchen. Counters are wipeable for a reason. I did get lots of seeds in here. I should have used my citrus squeezer. Fun fact, you guys, fruit is supposed to have seeds. I know it's convenient to buy the seedless option, but seeds are just part of fruit, so we should learn to love and accept them. I'm also going to add a little bit red wine vinegar. This kind of pickles the red onion a bit, and I love pickled red onions. And so it just, to me, gives it a really nice flavor. I'll do like a few capfuls of this. And then I'm also going to bring in some olive oil, add a little bit of pepper, some onion powder, and some garlic powder. And like I said, the intention of this, literally whatever you want it to be. So this is really great if you like feta. Oh my gosh, you could add feta in here. So good. I try not to eat a lot of dairy. As you've noticed, everything here is dairy-free, gluten-free. That to me is just a more anti-inflammatory diet because dairy and gluten can both be very inflammatory, especially if you have any intolerances. So I try to stick to protein, veggies. That being said, when I eat out, I eat whatever the hell I want. So I'm not trying to tell you I'm on some sort of diet, but everything here, anti-inflammatory, whole foods, nutrient dense, lots of colors. This I will cover up and it goes in the fridge. Ground beef is done and look how good this looks. That siete seasoning does it for me every single time. I'm going to keep this on low and let it simmer until everything else is ready. Let's check on the veggies. Broccoli, definitely done. Perfect. Broccoli is perfectly roasted. I love it a little bit crispy, but still that bright green color. Okay, I have 2 minutes until the chicken is done, so I'm gonna do my least favorite part, clean, in that 2 minutes. Once you get a hang of the pacing and the timing of meal prepping, it's really not that bad. In less than an hour, I have meals for the entire week. And it's not even that much of a hassle to clean up if I'm being completely honest. You kind of have to figure out what you like. And know that it's okay to have boring meals. I think we see all of these Pinterest recipes and people on Instagram making these extravagant things. And it's okay if your meal prep isn't extravagant. It's really just a matter of what makes you feel good. Chicken is ready. Let me show you guys how well this cooks in the air fryer. This is like to perfection every single time. It's crispy, it's juicy, it's perfectly seasoned, cooked all the way through with no issues. Slice up these chicken thighs and it literally just falls apart. It's so good. Again, the theme of this video is showing you versatility. Sweet potatoes are definitely done. This ground beef is literally perfect. Same thing, just putting it into Tupperware, glass Tupperware, always. And we will let that cool. Our sweet potatoes. These are perfect. Oh my gosh. You guys see how beautiful these look? Literally so good. And last but not least, I'm just going to toss some black beans into a container so that it's easily accessible for me because, again, any time that I can save during my workday includes opening a can. So literally just putting these into Tupperware, seasoning them up a bit so that I can scoop them out and eat them as I wish in my bowls, my tacos, etc. Makes my life easier. I'm a bean fanatic, you guys, more than most people. Fiber is never a problem for me because I've been eating beans since I was a kid religiously. Usually I'd also throw rice in the rice cooker, but I did that yesterday and I'll probably do that again tomorrow. I tend to cook rice about every other day because you don't want rice sitting in the fridge for too long, but I also don't eat enough rice to cook it every single day. So the other thing that I put in so many of my meals is spinach, but obviously I'm not going to cook that right now. Usually I'll saute that and then throw it into a bowl, or I'll use romaine lettuce, but some sort of green. And this is everything that I just prepped in less than an hour. Single ingredient, whole foods, lots of color, lots of nutrients, so many sweet potatoes. I don't know who let me make this many sweet potatoes, but everything will get eaten this week. So I hope that's helpful in helping you understand that meal prep can be so simple and so delicious and so nutritious. If you have any questions on meal prepping or anything that I use or want to see anything else on my meal prep blogs, please do let me know. This is my first one, so go easy on me. It felt a little bit rough, but we're going to get there, guys. We're doing it together. Again, if you don't know me, I'm Kayla Countryman. I'm the host of Her Becoming. You can find my podcast episodes on my YouTube channel. We talk about nutrient density and nutrition. We talk about women's health, cycle syncing, psychology, mindset, finding your purpose, and just living your best life. So, meal prepping is one of the many things that I do to show myself love and to treat my body like I really care about her because I do. So, thank you for being here, and I'll see you on the next one.